In the previous session, we learned about an index and we thought about the book and why we need an index and all that information. So now let's understand the properties of an index and also create an index. So the first important point is index help in faster retrieval of records. So by default, an index is a B-tree index. So let's study the properties of an index. Index enable fast data access for every value and their location. A row ID is stored, just like an index where the topic and the page number is stored. For every row and the value, a row ID is stored. Oracle makes use of the index based on the optimization rules. So when you query the database, depending upon the situation, Oracle will use the index. Sometimes if it thinks that index is not necessary, it will not use it. Index have also be updated during the DML operations. What that means is whenever you are inserting a record, it needs to create an index entry. Whenever you are updating a record, it needs to update the index entry. An index column can have null values until otherwise restricted. That means the column on which you are creating an index can have null values. If you don't want, you can enforce that. In the same way, the column on which you are creating an index can have unique values. That means no duplicated values are allowed. An index can also be created on multiple columns. So these are the various properties of an index. Now let's create an index. So the syntax is create index, index name, customer city index on table customer, and the column we want to create it on city. So on this I want to create. I know here the rows are very few, but imagine where you have like a million rows and most of the time you want to query based on a city. So now let me create an index. So index customer city index created. So now whenever I query the customer table with that column, where when I say city equal to Atlanta, it directly goes to the index and helps us in getting the data. So index is enabling you for the faster retrieval of your data.